I wonder if something happened.
Mahog saw. That makes. Four out of the 5 realms that I've visited now.
I wonder what kind of lord we're gonna find there.
It doesn't matter. If they try to get in our... It's over! Begin! Here I come! It's over! Here I come!
We turn the tables on them.
There are still more left.
Right. No time to hold back.
Do it!
Catapult! Take this! Catapult! You're finished! Sword lane out!
We're in good form.
A fish!
I didn't realize there was a pond here.
Yeah, this is Taka Pond. And it happened to have saved my life once upon a time.
What do you mean?
As a kid, I survived life under the past lords by escaping here when I needed to. It's terrible to swim in, but great for catching a bite for dinner away from Ren and eyes.
Bear in mind, our rations back then weren't enough to live off of. You had to take matters into your own hands if you wanted enough food to survive.
But how did you catch them? With your bare hands?
That might take a while. Fish are prone to swim away at the first sign of trouble.
I'd put bait or a lure on a line and use it with a fishing rod.
You must not be familiar with fishing if this sounds new to you. Here, let me show you how it's done.
You're still not done fishing yet? Boring.
You need patience to fish. Hup. Nothing's biting. There we go. Well, that wasn't much of a challenge.
Guess it's important to stay calm.
Yeah. Here we go. I'll catch something bigger next time.
Could have been worse. At least you caught something.
And that's all there is to it.
Wow. It seems like you need to have good reflexes to catch anything. I don't know if it's really for me. Kisara? I think I've seen enough.
Oh, sorry. I guess I'm just in my own little world when I go fishing.
Looks like we're going to be here for a while.
That's how fishing goes. You wait for a bite, and then the real battle begins.
Miguel told me that different fish live in different regions, and you have to pick the right rod and lure for what you're hoping to catch.
But that doesn't change the fact it's a giant time sink.
Of course, each fish has its own unique flavor, too. And some of them are supposed to be extremely delicious.
When you put it like that, maybe it's worth me trying my hand at fishing after all.
You're just in it for the food.
I was hoping we'd get to fish during our travels. And it just so happens I made sure to grab my brother's old rod before I left Vicente. So, if you ever feel like fishing when we've got a little downtime, just let me know.
Good to hear. Thanks for showing us.
Okay!
I'm always amazed what healing arts can do.
Hey. Is it just me, or have those two barely spoken a single word to one another?
I know, right? But after everything that happened with Miguel, is it really any wonder?
Kinda puts a damper on the whole journey though, huh? How long do you think they're gonna keep this up?
If it bothers you that much, why don't you ask them?
Why do I have to ask?
How come you walk together like that?
She really doesn't beat around the bush.
You mean Kisara and myself?
You hadn't noticed? You've been practically joined at the hip ever since we left Vicente.
I guess it's force of habit, most likely. I was always ready to protect him, should the need arise. It sort of came with the job description.
Right. From being in the Elda Menancia Guard. Although, Dohalim's pretty capable of defending himself, isn't he?
Having guards doesn't necessarily mean the one being guard.
Even so, it's not like they're entirely wrong, Kisara. You're no longer in my employ, after all.
I don't know. I mean, if it's what she's used to and you're both comfortable with it, then who are we to judge?
But she doesn't serve him anymore. It isn't normal for her to keep following him around like she still does.
You know, she's probably right. And a lot has changed over the last few days. I guess it wouldn't hurt to rethink our relationship in light of the new circumstances. Perhaps I'll give it some thought after all. Does that sound all right by you?
Of course.
You might want to stop asking his permission for every little thing while you're at it.
Sorry. It's not that easy, shaking off old habits. I'll probably need a little time to get fully used to it. Did we really just spend that much money?
Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
Out of my way! You want me? Come get me!
You're finished!
This one's mine!
Devastation!
Tiger
Take
Blade!
this!
Water,
You're
here I
finished!
come! I'm not so good with airborne targets.
Anything in armor is all mine! Flying freaks! Why can't they just sit still?
See ya! Can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done.
Take this! It's over!
Please, Lance.
It's Tom!
I think we can get through
This
this.
is it.
Don't let up until it's over.
Who said anything about letting off?
One more! Here I come!
Make it rain!
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
That's some power you wield.
You're the one who did the heavy lifting.
All right. There's nowhere to run from my heart.
When he slows down, that's our chance! Take this!
It's like trying to keep up with a wolf.
Not a chance!
Take this!
You're finished! You're mine! It's over!
I'll
Double
face you,
demon
now
thing!
or never. In a bind?
Destruction! Take this!
Can you take it?
Prepare to be healed! Fast!
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
It's over! Double demon thing!
Glacier spear.
You're finished!
One more. Tiger blade.
Crush! Destruction! I'm ready! Jolie! In an instant! Impact cross! We work well together.
Like a finely timed waltz.
You're mine! It's over!
Make it rain!
Frozen.
Hammer!
Got some interesting moves there, Dohalim. I'm glad you're on our side.
I'm simply glad to hear that I can make myself useful to you all. Huh?
What's wrong?
We seem to have come across some rather unusual objects.
What, you mean that pile of garbage?
No mere garbage, I assure you. Still, I've never seen anything shaped like it before. I'm intrigued.
Are you curious about this stuff, Rinwell?
Yeah. I think he might have found some old Danon relics. They look like the remains of a bunch of objects that disappeared after the Renans first invaded.
And yet here I am, holding them without so much as a second thought. I imagine the sight must be unsettling to you.
Not really, just that it must be nice to be a Renan who has time to indulge in stuff like that, unlike the rest of us.
Are you interested in this stuff too, Dohalim?
Charmed may be a better turn of phrase. I simply love objects that can give me a sense of what their maker was thinking, the history that went into their creation. You see, we Renans have hardly any such objects that trace back to our distant past.
I still don't understand what you two find so intriguing about it, though.
Why not? We're talking about our own culture here.
I get that, but it's not like this stuff is any use now, does it? It's just old. Real old.
Oh, but it does. Holding it in your hands like this, one can feel and engage with the distant past in a way no history book can ever accomplish.
I'll take your word for it. Well, seeing as it's Danon history, just make sure you're careful with it. All right, Dohalim?
But of course.
I sense a strength.
Barely a blip on our radar.
Visibility along this path will remain limited for some time. Take care not to get ambushed.
I'm surprised you know the terrain here so well. Lords don't strike me as having much time for wandering in the woods.
Sometimes I would take strolls along here when I wished to be alone.
You always did have a bad habit of disappearing without telling any of us guardsmen.
No choice.
Get behind me!
You're finished. Try harder. Not a chance. Elusive deity.
Going in!
Can't get out of this. Take
Leave
this.
the agile ones to
You're
me.
finished. I'm not done.
Pesky airborne scoundrels.
Sounds like a job for yours truly.
Elusive deity.
Tiger blade!
I'm ready.
Ringwell!
Frozen?
Hammer!
Searing blade!
Here I come.
Leave the ensnaring to me.
Yeah. And the bubbling to me.
Tiger blade!
You're finished.
Art expert coming through!
Make it rain!
Frozen?
Hammer!
Begin.
Searing blade!
This one's mine!
I know fine weapon material when I see it.
Discourteous, aren't you?
Take this.
Look sharp! Reload!
Here I come. It's over.
Leave the targets to me!
Airborne beasts. My set.
Here I come. Devastation. You got flyers.
I've got them! Let a marksman handle it!
You're finished. All yours. Here I come. You're finished. You're finished.
Pierce evil!
Devastation. Here I come. It's over.
Tiger blade!
Here I come. My turn. Struck. Devastation.
Going in.
Here I come. It's over.
I'm out!
It's over.
Make it
Devastation.
rain! Plenty left! One more!
Thank goodness we won. It's so hilly around here. I can feel my feet getting blisters.
That's mountain hiking for you. It can be pretty tough if...
Coming through.
You're finished.
On guard! Now you see what I can do!
Don't mind if I do.
Resonate with the
Here I come.
It's a duel of the arms.
On guard! Water!
Double demon.
Tiger blade! Shield!
Go for it.
Prepare to crumble!
Think we overdid it?
Not by a long shot!
Hear my call!
Tiger blade!
I'll take you all off. You're mine. Try this. Infernal turret.
On guard! One
Here
more!
I come. It's over. Here I come.
Make it rain!
Three left. Light burst forth.
Radiant Genesis.
We can really make weapons with this?
More Danon ruins here too, I see.
What were people even thinking back then? Trying to build anything around here.
Maybe they just had that much time and energy on their hands.
I'll do my best!
Take this. You're finished. You're mine.
This one's
It's
mine.
over. Mirage.
I shall ensure you survive this.
Destruction.
Resonate with the
You're
earth.
mine. It's over.
Arc sealed.
You're mine.
We can't lay a finger on you.
I prefer that.
It's over.
What about you?
Just watch and see.
This one's mine!
Elusive deity. No escape. My turn. I'm ready! Blow them away!
Hold up. Is this as valuable as I think it is?
I sure have built up a sweat with this hike.
Rest assured, we have reached the top. It's all downhill from here, quite literally.
So Mahag Sar's just up ahead then?
Indeed. If you look, across this mountain is the Lord's Keep.
There.
What's this place here? Some kind of old house?
Out of our way!
You're mine! Raining blood! Blow away!
You wanna play? Come at me!
Try me! You!
Glacial spear!
Your blade moves like silk. I just let my instincts take over.
How fast?
These little ones are hardly worth our time.
Less talking, more pummeling.
Cut them apart to your heart.
Like we're gonna lose to small fry.
I'll do my best! Glacial spear! Pierce evil! Begin! That's my watch!
You're mine!
Don't worry, I've got plenty to go around.
Elusive deity!
Look sharp!
It's over! I'm ready!
Piercing!
Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis!
My turn!
This one's mine!
Catapult! Tempest!
So that's how a lord fights.
I don't perform as well when I'm scared.
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear you say that.
Resonate with the earth! Stalagmite!
This one's
Art
mine!
sealed!
Going in! One more!
I'm ready! Dueling! In an instant! Impact block!
That extra training paid off.
What's that big tower over there?
I hate camping out.
There are still so many creatures we don't know about.
Have you been writing stuff down about what we fight?
Yep. It's actually pretty fun to observe them from a...
This looks perfect. Guaranteed to hit the spot.
Dohalim, care if I hang out for a while? You worried about what's going on with Menancia?
What makes you think that?
Well, you were speaking to Kisara earlier, weren't you?
It's rude to listen in on others, you know.
Sorry. I didn't hear what you two were actually talking about, though. I just figured it was Menancia since it was the two of you.
I am but a former lord who has abandoned his post. I'm no longer in a position to lead the realm in any capacity whatsoever. Yet Kisara still seeks out my opinions, knowing full well that is the case. This despite the fact I am no longer her master either.
Couldn't it be precisely because you're not her master anymore? It's natural for friends to want to hear each other's opinions.
I hadn't considered that possibility.
It's funny what you miss sometimes.
Hardly uncommon among artistic types such as myself. When lordships are decided based solely on one's astral energy, it can lead to funny results.
But even so, you still took your job as lord seriously, didn't you?
Certainly. I learned to perform my functions. However, I was less interested in ruling, so much as avoiding life and death decisions. Of course, such a mentality in the end led only to sickening pain and death taking place elsewhere out of sight. I pretended not to see or hear any of it, content to let our supposed peace and equality keep me blind and deaf to reality. I was a fool.
But you're making amends.
I would like to think so. The path ahead is dark, yet I still walk on. I merely pray that I shan't fall down any holes along the way. We'd best get ready for tomorrow.